you're going to want to be the person, with that house on the market that is ready to receive those flight of buyers when they're coming in.
Hello and welcome back to Change and the Market, your weekly look at the changing real estate market. I'm your host, Brian, and I'm joined, as always, by Chris. Chris, how you doing this afternoon?
Hey, Brian, good to be with you. Good to be with everybody in our community.
Fantastic. Let's get right to business, Chris. How have things changed in the real estate market since we last spoke?
Well, thanks, Brian. So full disclosure, as you can see, I'm in short sleeves. I'm not in New England, and I actually took a couple of days off. I'm in Florida. Everybody, at home, I'm getting all these reports about how we're getting hammered with snow. And I got up this morning, there wasn't any snow here, And,
I had about 6 inches of snow in my front, on my car this morning. So
Yeah. I saw palm trees, and, what got me thinking, full disclosure, apologize to everybody.
Yeah.
But, what got me thinking though about, what we're going to talk about today is basically the spring housing market. It's not intuitive to think that the spring housing market is starting when there's snow on the ground or we just got a foot of snow. But the reality of it is we're approaching the end of January. And this is actually when the spring market starts to take off. This is the beginning of it. This is like the formation of the spring market. And, even though the housing market has slowed down a little bit, we're still very inventory challenged. And so if you're a seller, and you're thinking about putting your property on the market, now would be the time to really be thinking about it. If all the circumstances are lined up properly, you're financially set, you're emotionally set, you have your plan in place, and you're thinking about, well, we'll wait until spring. Don't wait until spring. Do it now. And the reason being is that we're still inventory challenged, and because of that, if you put your property on the market now, you're going to be in an environment where you have a lot less competition. And even though the market's cooled off a little bit, there's still premiums to be had in the market. And, with the right property, priced and conditioned appropriately, you would be at a competitive advantage now. You'd still have an advantage in the spring because we're still going to be inventory challenged, but you got a little bit of an edge that you could rely on now versus 2 or 3 months from now. And we talked in the last couple episodes about buyer strategy, seller strategy, and I think this is maybe kind of part 2 of a seller strategy, is really understanding that the spring market isn't April and May. The spring market starts like the end of January, first week in February. That is going to weigh into this, and I think it's going to weigh in more so as time goes on. And I say time like in a 2 or 3 month period, is interest rates and mortgage products, continue to be competitive, and, interest rates, continue to soften gradually. And as that happens, that's going to bring, it's going to bring more people into the market. So you're going to want to be the person, with that house on the market that is ready to receive those flight of buyers when they're coming in. And if your house isn't on the market, well, you can't be there to receive the buyers.
So kind of bouncing off of that, what kind of actionable advice, based on the fact that we are in the formation of the spring market, do you have for homeowners or for industry professionals?
Well, one of the things is, I think, how we, like, if you think about it, it's not intuitive, right? Where to have snow on the ground and be thinking spring. And I kind of look at that, whether it's in business or life, is, about being curious about what's not obvious. Because the best solutions and the best outcomes we have are the ones that are not the most obvious. And, it's a little bit like lighting a match in a kind of in a dark corner. Well, what's in there, right? And so, that was kind of what struck me this morning, was that it's just not obvious, given like the environmentals, that this would be a spring market. But I think life is like that. A lot of times, like, the very best answers are hiding in plain sight. You just have to be curious enough to tap into them. So that's what I'd like to leave everybody with.
Fantastic advice, Chris. Thank you again for joining us this week. And thanks to all of our listeners for coming back again and joining us on Change and the Market. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening or watching this show on. And come back next week for another brand new episode of Change and the Market.